Hello everyone, Vickieverlie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess, and today we're going to take a look at Jupiter going into Cancer for all signs. Now this is a cycle that we've had before. It does come around once every 12 years, and the last times it happened was 2013 to 2014 mid-year switch over, and then mid-01 to mid-02, 89-90, 1978, 1965, and then 54-55. So, and the other thing is, if you were born during those time frames and you're having a Jupiter return, which is super, super lucky. It's really powerful this time, though, because it's going to be so close to the solstice, and also it's squaring up with Neptune and Saturn. Now, it's squared, potentially has squared up with Saturn in the past. I don't have that data in front of me, but it for sure has not squared up with Neptune, because Neptune hasn't been in this placement since the 1800s. So that's what makes this whole thing really unique and really different than other years. It's also only a week and a half before the solstice, and I've been doing these solstice readings, of course, which is available. And that is when the sun ingresses into Cancer. So, but the Jupiter is still there, and they're joined together. So, I mean, if you really wanted to dive in and take a deeper look into how that might affect you, the solstice reading will definitely cover it, and the square to the Neptune and all the other stuff. But in the meantime, we're just going to do a sign-by-sign reading and we're going to do 2 cards from the tarot, and then we're going to pull 1 card from my Holy Hamza, which, by the way, is available through GameCrafter, and there's a link to GameCrafter in the description. Last time people were asking about this deck, and yes, it is available. Okay, let's get started. I probably will timestamp the videos, but also you can just scrub through. You know, you don't have to comment all over with timestamp stuff. You just scrub through, and it'll be displayed here. Before we dive in all the way, I want to just mention that you are watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube, and I am vickieverlie.com is where you can find me. Do not be fooled by these imposters who are on social media messaging people under fake names. They're just liars and thieves, okay? All right, so first let's start with the sign of Aries. So Aries, yeah, it's in your 4th house. It's home, family, comfort. This is going to be perhaps really important to you. This would be, if you're planning on moving, Jupiter going through your 4th house could be a really good time to move, because you would find that place that is, you might get a good deal. You know, you might get a good price on a place to move, but more so you would find that place where you feel that comfort, where you feel that nurturing, that comfort, and the good vibes that you're really seeking. I think I want to just come in a little closer. Come a little bit closer. Aries, you always get my little adjustments that I have to make. I always have to do it in the first reading. There we go. Much better. There we go. I want to make sure you can see the website. Okay, let's go ahead and pull a couple cards for Aries and see what the universe has to say about this upcoming transit. I'm hearing that song. Okay. 1 second. Ooh, you got the beautiful star. Nice. And you have the Emperor. So somebody's going to bring in somebody who's in a position of power or authority in the form of the Emperor here is going to, the universe or stars, the beautiful spirit energy, they are going to be bringing in this person into your life. And the Emperor is a mover and shaker. And the Emperor, I think I'm going to try to use a little bit of a smaller wheel, because we're getting glare. Again, Aries, always got to bear with me, because you're the first sign of the zodiac. I'm always making my little adjustments under your reading. Okay, so put this there, and we'll slide these up a little. There. Now I want to make sure we can see everything really well. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. So yeah, Aries, you know, somebody's coming in, the Emperor. This is also one of the cards that represents you, because if you notice, they all have this Aries, the ram symbolism, usually somewhere on the card. You can get it to come into focus. In this case, it's on his throne, right? So it could be you. Maybe you're going to be ascended to that place of power. But I feel for most that this person is coming in, and then him holding that moon or that globe, it feels like it could be the solstice. So it might even feel like it might sort of be by the time of the solstice. Maybe something's initiated now here on the 9th or 10th, depending on your location, and then it actually happens by the 20th or the solstice. But star and spirit is being led to this Emperor for you. No genders, could be anybody. It's the person who has the power, the mover and shaker, the person who has the power to make things happen. Let's get 1 Holy Hamza card for our Aries for the upcoming season. And it's going to be sound. Yeah, sound resonance, sound healing. This is not really that much about music. Rather, it's more about, I'm trying to get a good space where we can see without glare. I think it's going to have to be this way today. It's a different time of day. There's different lights from the windows. Okay, and if you can see any of the words in the background, definitely pay attention. But the sound, we should almost call this sound resonance. It says we are all immersed in a sonic field of energy, and isn't that the truth? But the thing is, it's more about, like, you know, singing bowls, gongs, the things that are depicted on here, chimes, using these tuning forks. It's more about sound. It's used for energy alignment. I mean, it could just be straight up sound like music too for some people. I feel like that's going to be, there's something about the sound resonance, and I'm even feeling like something in the earth or in the ground of this place, either the place you're currently living or if you're planning on moving, like there is some kind of, there's a word for that, but it's these, there is sound, or there is this energy field that emits from the actual soil and earth itself. And even if you are moving, you may want to go through and do like a sound cleansing, or even if you're not moving, do a sound cleansing in your home environment to really clear the energy and welcome in the help and the vibration of this higher spiritual energy that's showing up here. Okay, next let's move on, and we're going to go to the sign of Taurus. Okay, Taurus, this is in your third house of communication, so that area of life is really going to be emphasized. Calling, texting, writing. Jupiter, you could have ideas. Ideas could be really in flow. Maybe perhaps another thing could be getting in touch with some kind of a neighborhood thing, getting involved with a neighborhood group association, or going to neighborhood meetings, or doing things like in your neighborhood. Okay, Taurus, let's go ahead and get 2 cards for Taurus for the Jupiter in Cancer. You got 3 of Rods. Your ships are coming in. Excellent. And the King of Fire. The King of Fire is a person who is a fire sign, a Leo, an Aries, or a Sagittarius. And they seem to be part of the success that you're experiencing, because the 3 of Rods, of course, is very much a card of success. So you're having some success. It's interesting that it's 3, and this is 3rd house also. Could be Leo, very much something to do with any of the fire signs, really, Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. But in this case, the Leo energy is really standing out to me. It's almost like, too, it could be definitely a person who is a Leo or any of the fire signs. Could be, though, as the sun moves into Leo, which is going to be, you know, in late July and August. But also, I want to say, this could be, whatever you're starting now, you're going to start to see the success, but it's not really going to hit big until we get all the way into, you're going to see, or you're going to get noticed or whatever by the time the next year. It's like one more year before you actually get there. This one here by itself. But it's going to be different for everyone, but it certainly looks like a lot of success. And this person is either noticing you, maybe they're, but I do feel like they're a party to your success. They're helpful in your success. Maybe they're pulling you out of the crowd as far as for a promotion, or picking you out of the crowd, or if you're submitting like a resume or submitting something, plans or ideas, or even like a book. Could be a book for sure. And this is, you know, Sagittarius is also publishing. Jupiter's also publishing, going in your 3rd house. So if you are always going to write that book or write that whatever, this is the time to do it. Could be writing music for many Tauruses. I know you guys are you're so musical. But let's go ahead and get one Holy Hamza card for our Tauruses for the upcoming season. Vortex. So Vortex is very powerful, a crack in the universe, a gateway to discover. Yeah, take a look at it. The words in the background, you can pause the tape if you want. See if any of those words in the background stand out to you, because that could be a key message. But it looks like a portal is opening. The keyhole is the one that's really standing out to me. But of course, let that happen in your own way, whatever stands out to you. But like a keyhole, so something holds the key. There's a key that's going to be unlocked, and it very much could be in your mind or in your mental capacity. Open up the windows and let some fresh air in, air out your house, air out your space, and allow for new energy to come in. And because this is the house of Mercury too. something, it could be getting a new car too. It's another little thing that could happen with Jupiter in your third house. But it feels like, you know, movement. Let the air circulate. Let things circulate. Open the doors. Open the windows. Here's the church. Here's the steeple. Open the doors and see all the people. That came to mind. All right, Taurus. Well, thanks for checking in. Don't forget to check your rising and moon. And next we're going to move over to the sign of Gemini. Well, Gemini, this is your second house of money. So Jupiter in the second is always going to be a banner year for you to really make that money, see that increase in your finances. Could also have to do with you initiating these things. You know, if you were planning on buying some kind of a thing, or even investing, or if you're looking for a job or something like that, you could find that job. You could find that. Just overall seeing an increase in your finances and in your self-worth as well, because that is, second house is the house of self-worth. Let's get two cards for Gemini. Building something, Three of Pentacles. Learning, building something for the future, and Seven of Wands. Coming up against some struggles along the way. Yeah, you know, you've had some struggles along the way. You know, another thing we're going to do a whole other video on, we're going to have coming up, is Uranus is going into your sign. This hasn't happened in 80 years. So, I mean, if you're in your 80s or above, you have experienced it, but you were just a little baby or a child. So nobody really has, you know, felt the real impact of this Uranus going into Gemini, you know. Nobody in your adult life, anyway. Well, maybe. I mean, it seems highly, if you were, you would be like 120 years old or something. Let's see, 80, or you'd be over 100 for sure. But anyways, that aside, Uranus can change things about. But I mean, Gemini, that's what's so great about you, is that you're ready to adapt to that. You're very adaptable. Uranus isn't going to necessarily throw you for some loop that you can't handle, you know. But you're building stuff, and it's going to be a struggle. But beyond the struggle comes the rewards. And that's true at any time. Like when you're working on a project, I've been working on this book that I'm doing here I was working on it in my head forever, you know, and I actually got down to the business of actually working on it, typing up, you know, doing it, you know, physically doing it in August. And I'm just about done, but I'm still not quite done. So it's almost, you know, it takes a long time, and there's been a lot of struggles along the way. But then with the struggles comes these breakthroughs here. And I do feel like whatever you're building, don't be discouraged by, I'm hearing don't be sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Meatloaf. Baby, we can go all night, that ain't getting us nowhere. Yeah, okay, let's do one card from the Holy Hamza for our Gemini friends. Attract. Yeah, well, that's what Jupiter's all about. Jupiter is the major attractor. It attracts whatever. Usually it attracts abundance, but it really, I mean, you got to watch, don't get too caught up in that frustration, because it can attract more of that. Take a look at these background words, and if any of them stand out to you, you can pause the tape if you want. That could be a personal message for you. But it's the law of attraction is at work in your life. Yeah, and Jupiter is attracting that too. So you're attracting all sorts of things. It's electrified. Maybe it could even be you're attracting too much with the Seven of Rods, and it's just like, whoa, I need a break. There's too much coming at me. And for a Gemini to say there's too much coming at me, because usually you guys can juggle all kinds of things, you know, it must be really a lot. So maybe if that's the case, maybe pick 2 or 3 things to really concentrate on, and these are the things I'm going to build over the next year, and these are the things I'm going to really work on. I definitely had to do that too. I had this deck going, and that book, and a couple other things. It was just like, I was getting too wonky there. I got to slow down. Let's finish the deck first, then I'm finishing the book, you know. Make a plan. Okay. All right, Cancer. Well, this is it for you. You know, this is your big moment. The Jupiter's going into your sign. You are going to be attracting all kinds of stuff. One cautionary thing is when Jupiter goes into your first house or goes by your sun sign, you can gain weight. So watch that. It can make abundance in your physical body. It can expand. But other than that, you're going to be whatever you're going after. If you're going after a job, if you're looking for love, you know, you're going to be that standout. You're going to have that je ne sais quoi that these people are going to be wanting and being attracted and being pulled towards. You know, it's all about you for that upcoming year. This would be a great time to get that solstice reading for you guys too. But let's get 2 cards for you right now to start out for Cancer. For the big Jupiter and your sign, Magician, you can make magic. You got everything you need to do anything you want this year. Anything you want, you got it, baby. You got it. You got it. Yeah, you got it going on too. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, you got this attraction thing happening. King of Fire. Somebody else had that King of Rods, King of Fire right in that same spot. Could be an Aries, a Leo, or Sagittarius person who is noticing you. I feel the same as I did in the last reading that had this here. They're looking, they're noticing. They're looking how put together you are, how competent you are, how accomplished you are. You know, you're the magician, baby, and what you can accomplish anything, it's infinite. So, you know, you are the magician. You are making things happen. You've got everything you need to do whatever you're going to do. It's all about you, number one, you know. And people are going to notice, particularly this King of Fire, who could be somebody very helpful to you. Again, a Leo, an Aries, or a Sagittarius. Sun, rising, moon. Okay, let's go ahead and grab a Holy Hamza card from my Holy Hamza deck, which is available. People were commenting that it's available at Game Crafter. The link is in the description. It's definitely available. And it's a good deck to work with on your own, too. It's good to use in readings, but it's good to work with on your own. Really good to work with on your own. Okay, let me grab one card for Cancer. Jupiter in your sign this year. Soar. Yeah, you're going to soar. You're going to fly like an eagle to the sea. Let my spirit carry me, yeah. Fly like an eagle, ascending to new heights, leaving the earth concerns behind. Yeah. Yeah, soaring above the earth. This is another one that has an unusual eye. The eye is there, but it's looking up. It's on top of the world. I'm hearing that other goofy song. What is it? I'm on top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find. Wow. Where did that come from? That was definitely not one of my jams, but I've certainly heard it because it was on the radio constantly. Well, that's you, baby, on top of the world. Look at the side, look at the words in the back. Freeze the tape if you have to, the video, you know, pause the video. And, you know, see if any of those words stand out to you, because that could be a key word for you for this, you know, this upcoming year. But everything's up. The magician's pointing up, the eye's pointing up, the birds are looking up, the thing is pointing up. You know, you're on the rise. Your star is on the rise this year. Take advantage of it. I know sometimes, Cancer, you get a little, you like to just crawl in your shell and be quiet, and you're kind of homebody. You don't really always like to have all that attention on you. But it's only once every 12 years, so you got to get it while the getting's good, okay? All right, Cancers, well, if you want to take a look at that in more depth, definitely check out the readings I have. We can dive into it. Next, we're going to move on to the sign of Leo. All right, Leo, well, this is in your 12th house. So this is a time when you're finishing up cycles. Jupiter in the 12th, you could get some kind of an inheritance. Something that's hidden could come to light. People from the past or situations from the past could happen again, show up again in your life. So there's a lot of different things that could go on with Jupiter in the 12th, but it's the last time until next year when it's going to go into your sign. So absolutely a finishing up of cycles is what's the big picture here. Eight of Rods. Looks like things are going to be moving quickly towards Two of Cups, soulmate. So love energy. Very likely could be a lover from the past, if that's the case. Or a soulmate from the past. You know, the soulmates are not just our lovers. We have many soulmates in this incarnation. So, you know, our best friends, different people. There's many people that come in that we're going to interact with and be a part of our life that doesn't necessarily always have to do with a romantic love situation, okay? But things are moving quickly. This is also known, says the arrows of love are hitting their mark. You know, they're going straight towards this Two of Cups energy of this soulmate. So there's definitely major love energy working. Again, Cancer in the 12th, Jupiter in the 12th, that's probably more past life. Well, it's funny I said past life because that's true as well. And I do have that past life reading where we look at your 12th house. That's one of the big things we look at. But, you know, it's probably something from the past. And there's a good chance that you do have a past life connection as well. I mean, that is also true. Okay, on whatever level. It could be a work, you know, even if they were a lover in your past life, maybe they're not in this life. Maybe they're a friend or a coworker or a boss. You know, it's all kinds of different things they could be. Okay, let's go ahead and get your Holy Hamza card for Leo for the upcoming year, we've got space. So that's blasting off. Blasting off into new territory, galactic connections. I mean, that 12, you might have some awakening to some galactic things. You know, a lot more and more people are awakening to their galactic heritage and different things at this time frame. It could just also be, though, look at the background words and see if any stand out to you. But it also can just be like an interest in space. Maybe you're going to go visit, you know, NASA or the Science Museum, or maybe you're going to get a telescope or a drone or something and, you know, be watching the stars. It could be a lot of different things to different people. But with this and there, with the Eight of Rods and the Blast Off card, it feels like, you know, you are blasting off into new territory. Like things are going to start moving forward really quickly for you. So it looks really positive. Good for you, Leo. Okay, next we're going to look at the sign of Virgo. Well, Virgo, this is going to be in your 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, money from the career. But friends and associates is the strongest vibe that I always assign to that 11th house. I find that that kind of works almost always, you know. So making new friends, joining groups, getting involved in, you know, your communities, different communities. Maybe some of you even are having a high school or a college reunion or something like that. Or these days, you know, we don't even have to, you know, people have reunions on you know, they get together and find each other on Facebook or Instagram and have, you know, big reunions, school reunions or old friend reunions from whatever. So I'm hearing from dance class for somebody. So somebody's going to have a dance class reunion. Okay, let's go ahead and get 2 cards for our Virgo friends. We got the Five of Swords, being feeling of being stuck, and Knight of Cups coming in. Okay, so feeling of being stuck, Knight of Cups could be, it's a person, a water sign person, a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But also, you know, Knight of Cups could be an aspect of you. Because sometimes you can get into all work and no play. No, I can't go to the party or I can't go to the event because I've got work to do. You know, Virgos, you guys, you can fall. And I'm right there with you. I'm not a Virgo, but I have a lot of Virgo in my chart. I have a stellium. And, you know, I can be that. I'm Capricorn. I can be that way too. Work first, you know. But this is telling you maybe, you know, if you do want to have more of a social life, or you know, you got to soften up a little. Maybe you got to be more like the Knight of Cups. You know, put yourself out there a little bit more. You know, accept invitations. You know, because if you never show up, they're going to stop inviting you. You know, you can't blame them. They invite you, and you never come, so then they just stop inviting you, you know. So just, you know, put yourself out there, make calls, take time for more heartfelt connections, and don't be so much all about business this year. Because there's some really good heartfelt connections that are definitely going to be available to you. Let's see here. Holy Hamza, herbal. Yeah, maybe enjoy some herbal stuff. This is more about the medicinal aspects of it. A holistic approach may be beneficial at this time. Yeah, maybe that's even, you know, I'm hearing botanical gardens, so maybe some of you might want to go to a botanical garden or something like that. Take a look at the words in the background, because that's going to, perhaps you'll get a message or something from that. But the different plants here, you know, some echinacea, garlic, lavender, cannabis, I forget what those, the mushrooms, I forget what that other flower is. I can't remember. But these were actual, I drew pictures of actual medicinal herbs when I was making this deck. Yeah, so, or maybe, you know, your earth sign, I know many Virgos, my buddies, you know, those are, when my parents had the bar, I had all my garden buddies, you know, how's your garden going? We talk garden all day long. Yeah, so maybe you take some time to get out in the garden, and that's going to soften you up too. Or, you know, if you're, this is also maybe not you laying down the law saying, no, I can't go, I've got too much work to do. But maybe you're stuck on a problem and you're just beating your head against the wall. And this can be like, put your attention to something else. Have fun, go outside, you know, tend to your garden, go meet up with friends, or go to an event with people. You know, these kinds of things. It's like, this is not healthy forever. You need a break from that. You need to go more into the pleasure zone. You know, allow yourself some pleasures and some relaxation and some healing. Okay? All right, Virgos, I have that solstice reading. If you want to dive into more about this whole Cancer energy, check it out if you're interested. All right, Libra, cardinal sign. We always say, you know, this is those cardinal signs. this is you're getting that access. You know, you are, it goes like the solstice is the season, and the Jupiter, it's always a seasonal change, and you're always affected because it's a square. It's up in the 10th house. This one fell out. It's up in the 10th house, so it could be more career oriented. You could make big strides in your career, or whatever you're really striving for. Like I used to always say 10th house is career, but 10th house is really what you're shooting for, okay? Not necessarily always career. Maybe you're shooting for something else altogether. Maybe career isn't the most important thing in your life, you know? More and more, I think that's the case with a lot of people, you know? After the pandemic, I think that's one of the things the pandemic showed us, it's got some dirt on it, is that, you know, a lot of life we're missing out on by being so goal-oriented. You know, what are we really about? What do we really enjoy doing? And all that sort of thing. Okay, so working on a project that you can be a career, you might see some results from that. You know, that definitely. Somebody's making you an offer. You seem to have a singular vision, I want to say, for Libras. Like maybe you don't want, usually you're pretty cooperative and you're very good wanting to work with other people, etc. But it feels like maybe you don't want somebody else, I'm hearing a Badinsky. So somebody's trying to butt in, or Badinsky. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want more of a, you have this singular vision. So maybe that's why these people are saying this, this, and this, and you're like, no, no. And he seems so focused, and he seems so, he knows exactly what he wants to make out of this. You know, he just seems like he's just really focused and into it. So see your vision. You're going to have a good year for success and making big strides, you know, in success, and etc. Let's get your thing here, air energy. Well, you're air. You are one of the air signs. Okay, it says, take a look at the background words when I hold the card up. And it says, communication is key, seeing from a higher perspective. And, you know, there's all this levity, all this lightness and levity and air and wind. And, you know, hot air balloons, the elements of air, flying a kite, the wind. Allow the wind to carry you, you know, being the wind beneath your own wings, soaring to new heights. These are the things that are coming through from the guides. Journalism is showing up for me there. So some of you might be journalists. But, you know, whatever word shows up to you, that could be the one that you want to take a look at. Could also be talking about air sign time. So we're in air sign time when I'm posting the reading. And when Jupiter goes into Cancer, actually, we're in air sign time of Gemini. But then the next air sign time after that is going to be Libra, your sign, when we head into September, October. So it could be things you're building now, might not be, it might be 3 or 4 months. So that could be like, you know, around the time of your birthday before you see the actual, you know, you see it soar, you see the results that you're searching for. But, you know, this Jupiter thing is active all year. So you can make great strides in your career for the entire year. All right, Scorpio, well, this is moving into your 9th house. Again, go back to the beginning of the video. You can look at those other years. 9th house is travel, higher education, expanding your consciousness, dealing with foreigners, foreign people, publishing. Lots of good things could happen with 9th house. Also because it's water sign energy, so it's compatible with your water sign. You are also a water sign. Okay, let's take a look and get 2 cards for Scorpio for the upcoming Jupiter and Cancer transit. Got 7 of Wands, you've been struggling, followed by Page of Fire. All the young dudes carry the news, so some good news is coming. I feel that is going to alleviate this struggle. Now the news might come in a time of fire, so that could be at the next sign. We're going to be in, we'll move into the solstice on the 20th. Sun will be in Cancer, and then roughly the 20th of July, the Sun will be in Leo. This is very much a Leo type of card with that Sun emblem on there. Or maybe even when the Sun joins Jupiter on the solstice on the 20th. But I do feel like there's news coming that is going to bring relief from some of the stress and struggles that you've been enduring lately. And I feel like a lot of Scorpios have really been through some stuff here. And so you're going to see some relief. You're going to see some new objectives, my guides are saying. New possibilities, my guides are saying. Okay, let's get 1 card from the Holy Hamza for Scorpio. We've got action. On with the action. Yeah, on with the action. I think that's Michael Schenker Group. Things are moving quickly, propelling you into the future. Action. Well, I mean, you know, it could be, maybe some of you, I know a lot of creatives watch my channel. I was going to say watch my show. I guess it is my show, though. But, you know, maybe you are trying to get a film made, you know, and, you know, maybe you're going to get that green light. But for others, it could just be a lot of things. Whatever this is, this holdup or this stall or this friction, bam, you can just all of a sudden see things moving forward, see things improving, see things getting better. And it could be happening really quickly. You know, that fire is that spark, and all of a sudden things are sparking and they're happening quickly. And it feels fun. There's this youthful excitement about it. You know, you feel like you're excited to get involved with it, and it just feels fun and exciting. Okay, next we're going to look at the sign of Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, this is in your 8th house, which is one of your money houses. It's money from a partnership, or if you're it could be your partner's money if you're in a long-term relationship. It could be like investors or group financial things, investments, things like that. It's death, taxes. It's, you know, it's the house of death and rebirth. It's big changes. It's the house of sex. So Jupiter is in there and amplifying and making more of all those things that I just said. And of course, it's going to matter, you know, it'd be on an individual basis, a case-by-case basis to see what it means to you. But let's get 2 cards for Sagittarius. Strength, having strength and having patience, but also coming from a place of strength. And the Lovers, yeah. So there could be, you know, the 8th house is very much tied to, you know, your partners, and it's coming out of your 7th house of your partner. That's your marriage partner, you know. I feel like maybe for many of you, you found this new strength in your relationship, like you're on this new solid ground where you're really feeling solid and strong again. But also for some of you, if there's been, you're kind of, things are shaky or you're not sure, the strength card can be saying, have strength and have patience, because love is going to come around. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. Love is gonna find a way. I tell you, baby, love will find a way. And the Holy Hamza card is the Trickster. Ooh, the Trickster. Well, take a look at the background words. Pause the video if you need to. But yeah, all is not what it seems. Be wary of who you trust. So there could have been some interference or some things. All is not clear in this sector of your life. Relationships, finances. Slow down, because Sagittarius, sometimes you want to rush too. You know, you're fiery. Let's get things moving. You know, you're in a hurry. This is a time to slow down and figure things out and see things for what they are and who they are. But my guys are saying, allow for things to unravel. There's some things that are going to unravel that maybe I'm feeling for some there's been some outside influence in your relationship, and this is going to bring that peace and flow back. You know, this will be revealed. The trickster will be, you know, outed. Get out, you know, get the, you know what, out of. Okay, next let's move over to the sign of Capricorn. Well, this is in your 7th house, and again, even if you're not Capricorn rising, it's in your opposite sign. So that is you and the other. That's your partner's house. So partnerships, relationships. If you're trying to attract a partner, you could definitely do that at this time. But sometimes Jupiter going through the 7th, it can be all about the partner. You know, they may be taking up too much of your time, because I know Capricorns, you always like to have your own things going on there. So their stuff could be taking up way too much time, time and energy for you. Okay, let's do 2 cards here for Capricorn. Got 7 of Cups, dreaming your dream into reality. A dream lover, 'cause I don't want to dream. Well, if you're going, something really wonderful could happen at some kind of big party or celebration. If there's a solstice party going on, you know, that's like a little bit after that. Definitely go. You could meet somebody. Could be love. They're saying dream lover, but it could be whatever. Important business contact, or maybe just some much needed fun. Much needed putting down the work and just having an enjoyment, or getting together. Could be a baby shower, wedding shower, something like that. But a lot of good energy. Maybe you're celebrating some kind of anniversary, something like that with a partner. But it's good vibes and up spirits, you know, and dreams could come true out of that. some kind of dream could come true. I don't feel like if you go there seeking, well, I'm going to this party because I want this specific thing to happen. You got to be more loosey-goosey with it. You got to be more loose and open and just go there to have a good time, but more, there's something else could be revealed or happen there of more importance. Let's get your Happy Hamza for Caps. Got the Dream card. These are similar. I almost modeled this card somewhat with that one. The way the cups are flying around in the air and the clouds and stuff. Yeah, I was definitely thinking of 7 of Cups when I did this card. And I made it 25 so it adds up to 7. But the interesting thing about this particular card in my deck, the Holy Hamza, it's the only card in the entire deck where the eye is closed. So it's very much about dreaming, going inward, visioning your life into being, communing with your higher self. If you see any words, you can pause that tape and pause the video and take a look at it. Yeah, so there's this, and it might not even be going to this celebration or something, but whatever you've been dreaming about or going within and trying to manifest, there'll be a reason to celebrate because you're seeing it in the outer world. This may not have anything to do with going to a party or celebration. Maybe it's just you celebrating like it happened, I manifested, I did it, you know. So it could be something like that for many Capricorns. All right, next we're going to look at the sign of Aquarius. And all these little cards and doodads I got to flip around here. I got all kinds of decks and cards and whatnots. Whatnots and doodads. Doodads and thingamabobs, that's right. All right. Aquarius, well, this is in your 6th house. This is time to focus on work. Sure, you may have more work than you need, or more work than you, not than you need, but that you are, you know, your work could be really happening. You might get bogged down with work a little bit. But Jupiter is also a great time to look for a new job, Jupiter in the 6th, but also it's your health. I mean, I think that's the main thing. It's a good time to do some health regimens. You could really, if you got into some kind of a new pattern or a new regimen or a new routine, it could really stick at this time. It could really stick and it could really happen, you know, because sometimes we start these diets or these workout routines and then we kind of, oh, whatever, you know, skip it. But no, this could say it could really stick at this time and you could make great strides in your health. Yeah, if you've been feeling a little bit down, you know, a little bit drained or whatever, this is a time to maybe go back to it. And if it's something that also that in the past you said, yeah, well, I tried that diet, I tried the vegan diet, I tried this and that diet, or I tried that workout thing and it didn't work out for me, blah, blah, blah. This is saying it could work out for you this time. This is a time to go back. Somebody's going to be walking up steps, doing steps, or maybe just that, counting your steps. But I feel like your actual steps that walk up, like you're going to walk up these steps every day. Or if you're having trouble walking up the steps, you know, you want to get to that point where you're not having that trouble. If this pertains to work, this could be some job that you applied for in the past, or even a business that you try to make a go of. More it's about job and work, not as much about business necessarily. But whatever in the past, something that you perceived that you failed at, it could all of a sudden turn around and start to pick up, or it could be you could be back at it. I'm hearing back in the saddle again. Not the Gene Autry one, the Aerosmith one. Is that Gene Autry? I'm back in the saddle again. I'm hearing the other one. I'm back. Dun, 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 dun. I'm back in the saddle again. I can't get it. It's too early in the morning to get up there. I'm back. Dun, 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 dun. Whatever. I know people don't like it when I do it. Some people love the song, some people hate them, whatever. If it comes through, it comes through. All right, let's get the Holy Hamza for the Aquarius. All right, fire. Watch me burn. All right, fire. So get that spark going, Aquarius here. Turn that spark into a flame, lighting a fire under our butt. Yeah, I'm thinking it's more lighting that fire under your butt. This Jupiter could really do that, or you kind of probably have to initiate it. Look for the background if any words stand out. You probably have to more initiate this, you know, lighting that spark under your butt. But I do feel like it could really grow. You know, you could make great strides and stuff that's, if you've been sluggish, down, whatever. You know, and Pluto's coming through your sign too, so there's just big changes for all Aquariuses, period, anyway, all right? All right, let's move on to the last sign, last but not least, our beautiful Pisces. Pisces, everybody, yeah. Well, you are another one. It's your water sign. It's in your 5th house too. Love, romance, creativity. Creativity could be off the hook at this time. Jupiter going through the 5th house. High, if you're trying to conceive or have babies, pregnancy is highly likely. I had Jupiter in my 5th. I had twins. But it was also my Jupiter return. I have Jupiter there natally. In Pisces, actually. But yeah, Jupiter in the 5th definitely can see a high chance of pregnancy. So if you're trying for that, that's awesome. If you're not trying for that, then be aware. Maybe take extra precaution. But it's also love, romance, fun, creativity. Your creativity could be really off the hook right now. And here's the other thing: you're free of the burden of Saturn being on your stuff. Saturn was kind of killing the party or raining on your parade there for the last few years. So you can, this beautiful modes of expression are coming through. It could just, you don't have that heavy Saturn there anymore. This is be a really awesome year for many Pisces rising. Let's see here. 10 of Rods. Well, that's that Saturn. You were carrying that Saturn on your back. But now you're leading to this new, fresh start, this Ace of Rods. This particular deck too, it illustrates really clearly, if you can see. But he's carrying this heavy load, but he's almost there. He's gonna make it. He's on the last stretch of this long journey. He's old and he's on this last stretch of this long journey, but he's gonna make it. The worst is over. He's gonna make it. And then when he gets there, he gets to the castle here, and then boom, these new things are sprouting and blooming everywhere. I wonder if I could pull one of my sprouts over here. I got my stuff sprouting. See, things are sprouting. Can you see my little sprouts coming up here? They're sprouting and blooming and leaking water all over this stuff. Leaking water over my table. Hold on, we gotta get rid of this water. We don't want to wreck my little display area. But yeah, things are sprouting, things are blooming, things are happening for Pisces. Let's get your Holy Hamza. You're going to be in the creative zone, the romance zone, children, even if you're not having another baby, stuff with existing, not only your kids, but children in general could be really cool. You've got magic. You can work magic. Take a look at the background words, see if any of them stand out to you. Pause the tape if you want, the video. But magic, yeah. There is magic all around us. Embrace the possibilities, yeah. This reminds me of a kid's party, too. Maybe you're going to plan some big kid's party. Maybe you're going to even start being a performer at a kid's party. Maybe you're going to be a clown or a magician, or maybe you're going to do face painting or be dressed up like a fairy princess with the hat or something like that. But it just feels like fun, imagination, creativity, children, just a lot of good stuff. You deserve a break today. So get up and get away to McDonald's. Yeah. And you're going to go to the bouncy house at the McDonald's or something. Who knows? But looks like fun and good times await. Hey, everybody, don't forget, if you want to really dive into that solstice reading is going to talk all about that stuff. But thanks for everybody for tuning in. I'll be back soon with another video. Have a great Jupiter in Pisces, or Jupiter in Cancer. Talk to you again soon. Bye.